In this video, I'm going to show you how to add unit testing to your Sitecore project. In my solution here, I have a util project that has a utility class, item util. On here I have a method called getFeaturedChildren. The purpose of this method is to return all of the children of the current context item that have the featured field ticked. That featured field exists on a data template article, which I'm going to be using during the tests, and on there I have a featured field which is of type checkbox, so this is what we're checking for. So you'll see here that there's actually a bug in this method that we're going to surface through the unit testing. Now to run these unit tests, I'm going to be using my custom in-unit test runner, which you can get off my website www.codeflood.net, and up on the top menu there you'll find the link to the test runner page. Here you'll find a bit of information about the test runner and as well as the download link. Now the test runner is an ASPX page that you compile into your project. Because it's in your project, it executes in the HTTP context like your application does. So in Sitecore's case, we actually have full access to the Sitecore API. We don't have to struggle or try and mock anything. So over here I have the test runner. I'm just going to extract that to the folder where I've got my solution. So let's pull that out there. And then in Visual Studio, I can include that project. So here's my custom runner and the project. Now this is actually a Visual Studio 2008 project to provide a bit more compatibility, so I'll have to convert that. Don't need a backup, off we go. Now I won't upgrade this even though I am running against Sitecore 6.4 in this example, because I haven't actually configured it to run in .NET 4 yet. So we'll say no to that one and we'll leave it in 3.5. Okay, we've got our test runner in here now. Now you see here that I'm already linking to the NUnit libraries, which are actually inside the lib folder. So if I come back to my solution, in the custom runner folder, I've got the lib folder, which is where the NUnit assemblies exist. Now one other thing I know I'm going to need in here is a reference to the Sitecore kernel, because I'm going to be calling the API. So let's add that in, and we'll browse to inetpub Sitecore 6.4 website bin and Sitecore kernel. Now the model that I like to use for my Sitecore projects is my code exists outside of my web root. For this reason, when I compile this project, I need it to copy the required files over to the web root. So to do this, I'm going to use some MS Build magic. So I'll come and I'll unload my test project. Let's save that. Now I can edit the MS Build. So the very first thing I do in here is add in my Sitecore path, inetpub. In fact, to make sure I don't make any mistakes, here's my folder. Okay, and now I can use this variable throughout my file. This is going to be an after build action, because I only want it to happen after I successfully build the project. So the first thing to do is to create an item, and include is going to be the output path, and then I'm going to take all the DLLs in there, because I don't only want the library DLL, I also want the NUnit DLLs as well. And we'll shove that all into output. So we'll give that item name bin files, binary files, and the task parameter we want to put into that is include. Now I can use the copy task to copy the source files, bin files, and the destination folder is going to be $Sitecore path whack bin. I'll also put in there to skip the unchanged files to save us some time. Now, one more file that I need to copy across is the test.aspx file. This is the actual page that we can hit that is the test runner. So I'm going to, now although I could single out the file individually and copy that across, this is kind of just the method that I use for any Sitecore project. So if I add other ASPX files in there, it will also pick up those. So create item, and we'll include recursively all ASPX files in my solution. And we need an output. I'm going to call that web files. My task parameter there again is include, and now I can copy those across. So my source file is going to be that item again, web files, and instead of destination folder now I use destination files, and I can do a transform on these files. So these files currently exist underneath my build location. I need to transform them so they exist under a relative path under my destination folder. So the easiest way to do that is by using a transform. So web files, and I'll transform that to $Sitecore path whack percent relative dir, which is the relative directory. That relative comes from that recursive ** in the include. Then I need the file name and the extension. And again, we're going to skip unchanged files. Okay. So that should now be copying across our binary files as well as our ASPX file. Let's save that. I'll close that, and back in Solution Explorer I can reload the project. And let's rebuild. All succeeded. If we go over and have a look at our website, I'm crossing my fingers. Here we go. We've got our test ASPX file has been copied across, and our custom runner as well, DLL. So now I can navigate to sc64.localhost test.aspx, and that will show us in all its glory the custom in-unit test runner. There we go. Of course I can hit the run button now, but we don't have any tests, so it's not going to do anything.